What's up, everyone? In this video, we're going to be going over the top setups in the stock market right now. Today was a wild day as we saw a lot of movement intraday, and we saw some of the market-leading companies really have a day. Tesla closed down 12% today alone, and Tesla was not the only stock that struggled. The powerhouse Apple even tanked down in a major way. We have a lot of important things to talk about in today's video, and towards the end, we have a $1 million trade that you will not want to miss. Tom, let's get right into it.
100%, Mike. It was a crazy trading day, and I'll tell you, it was not the start to 2023 that a lot of people were looking for, especially Tesla and Apple traders. Those two stocks got demolished today. Tesla almost ran down to $100 a share. It got all the way down to 105. Man, I was surprised it didn't keep going down, to be honest, with how much momentum it had there. Apple ended up flying down as well, and you can see Apple's momentum at open was almost like worse than Tesla's. They just had so many back-to-back 5-minute red candles there, and looking at Apple's daily chart, they are starting to really fall below a key trend line, and man, it looks like they're going to be falling back down towards that like 120 to 122 support. So it's a crazy stock. It's a crazy market, Mike. Even Tesla is insane. It made a new yearly low today as well, but these two stocks are going crazy. And I know that looking at the market for tomorrow, there's even more craziness in stores. We have the FOMC minutes coming out at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So watch out for the FOMC minutes. It's going to probably give an insight into obviously what they talked about more at the last FOMC meeting, and maybe more of an insight into what they're going to do with maybe the rate hikes and everything like that going forward. So it's going to be a big event. Watch out around 2 p.m. Hopefully it brings some more volatility into the market, Mike, and maybe causes some better intraday movement for some better price action. I will say today's price action was awesome at open, but towards the end of the day, it got really choppy.
You know it. So let's go. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time, just like Tom said, is the time to watch. There will be extra volatility in store for us. So definitely make sure to keep that on your schedule. But Tom, looking at Tesla today, you know, it took a beating, but why is this? Why is this stock falling so much even after all of the bleeding that it's had over the past couple months?
Yeah, definitely. It was terrible, down 12% today. I know Elon's been selling shares and he said he was done. And, you know, Tesla started to kind of go back up last week, but they ended up missing on their overall delivery numbers for the year. So guys, looking at these numbers, it says that they delivered about 1.31 million vehicles. That is only 40% growth or up, 40% from 2021. And they were looking to get up 50% year over year on those delivery numbers. And it looks like, Mike, they missed the forecast of Wall Street, which with the forecast was at 1.34 million, and they delivered 1.31 million, barely missing that. Wall Street actually lowered their expectations a little bit, obviously from the 50% threshold that Tesla was looking at. But overall, Mike, that's pretty bad to see. I know that 40% year over year growth is still very, very respectful. That's still a very good number, but just to see it miss estimates in the short term, obviously, is not good. And whenever you have just such a bad, I guess, mindset in the market right now and so much selling going on, whenever you have something like this come out, it just adds more fuel to the fire. And I think that's exactly what happened today, which caused Tesla to make new lows over the past year. Honestly, this move down to 105 was the new low of the year.
Yeah, so for like short-term trading opportunities and for Tesla's setup right now, I think there are two key ways and two key opportunities right now. The first one being over the past couple of weeks, it just seems like intraday, Tesla has been getting demolished day after day after day with just overwhelming selling pressure. So when we have these extreme periods of momentum, it is awesome to day trade put options intraday with them, and they tend to print. Here's the thing though, at this point, Tom, Tesla stock is down quite a bit, and like intraday from like right now to like on the 28th, it looks like Tesla is like kind of double bottoming. So it's like you do have to watch out for that support, because if it could hold, then you probably want to go with some short-term calls.
Yeah, definitely. It does almost look like a double bottom there. It was kind of strange that morning. Tesla was falling down in pre-market a lot, or I should say in after hours a lot, on that day, Tuesday, December 27th. And in in pre-market the next day started popping right back up. So I hate it whenever, we see that weird movement in after hours and pre-market like that. Sometimes it can be a little bit deceiving with those supports. So definitely watch it, Mike. And like you said, with it being down so much, like if you look at that daily chart, it's just insane. I mean, it's almost been like a falling knife type of pattern here. It's been pretty much straight down. And man, I will say I'm definitely going to be watching $100 as well. We're around 105 right now. If we get down to $100 even, that's going to be insane. And guys, watch out for those buyers at 100. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people coming in. And whenever I look at that daily chart and I go back a long time, it seems like $100 was a pretty big support in the past. You can see a lot of price action there, and pretty much all between 100 and 120. There was a bunch of different touches with a lot of bigger candlesticks and wicks down there.
Sounds good. So Apple is the other stock that got demolished lately. Apple stock actually fell below the $2 trillion market cap for the first time since June of 2021. So this is actually a very significant day. Apple fell below that key $2 trillion level, so it's a huge day. And what's going on, Tom?
Yeah, they fell below that level. And as we know, Apple's been having a lot of issues lately with manufacturing in China. And it says that those iPhone 14 Pro shipments ended up being delayed. And obviously they struggled with the shipments overall because of those COVID restrictions on their primary factory in China. So that's obviously a really bad thing to hear, Mike. We've been talking about their production in China pretty much all year long and over the past couple of years, ever since COVID happened, because China's restrictions are just so insane over there. And it just takes such a toll on companies that, really, I guess, rely on China and their manufacturing. And I know Apple's actually talked about moving their manufacturing more out of China, maybe more towards India on certain products and stuff like that. So I found that interesting, but their stock is definitely down a lot right now. That was a brutal red candle intraday. I will say early on in the morning, Apple was looking pretty good, Mike. We had a nice move up. It looked like we were continuing off that nice momentum from Friday. But man, when the market opened, everything changed.
No doubt. So now I want to talk about some of my favorite setups intraday today, but also some good setups going forward. So looking at Meta stock today, this one was filled with opportunity. At first, at market open, this thing rocketed up in a crazy way, but then it pulled back pretty violently, after, the initial run up, and it continued to just coast higher, basically for the rest of the day. And what's really awesome is our bot actually signaled call options on Meta pretty early on. So it called out Meta 123 strike call options at $244 each. And then by the end of the day, they hit highs of $410 each. So if you want to trade with our bot for daily options alerts and access to many, many other custom tools and features that you will not find anywhere else, make sure to check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. You will save $41 off your first month completely automatically. We have an automatic coupon code that is applied at checkout. And all I'm going to say is that we have some insane new features set to release into the Discord. You are not going to want to miss it for 2023.
Yeah, definitely. This is going to be awesome, Mike. And Meta did even better than 33% today. The 33% move on the chart here was really the first initial move that happened. As the day went on, it got better and better, but it's going to be an awesome 2023. Let's go, guys. Join up on the Discord. It's free. There's even going to be some new features out there for the free members as well. So join up. It's going to be an awesome community. And man, I'll tell you, Mike, I think the scalpers and the day traders are going to really enjoy it.
You know it. So if you want to get access to the bot and the premium features of the Discord, check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. But Tom, let's get right into some setups for tomorrow. With the first one, I'm looking at Disney. So Disney stock, in my opinion, is showing like a great risk reward setup right now. It's really close to some key support levels, which is awesome. And at the same time, I've been seeing like these value type stocks hold up a lot better, like in the very short term, which is a good thing, like even today. So I think Disney to the upside is really, it has a really good risk reward situation right now. It's still right under that $90 resistance. And if it breaks 90, I really think this thing can run and eventually retest 100.
Yeah, that would be awesome. A nice retest up there around 100 would be great for Disney, and I think it can definitely happen as well. I did notice that Disney and Meta and a couple other stocks ended up holding up a lot better today, even though the SPY was down a lot. So that was cool, and hopefully Disney can keep it up for the next few days. I know Disney was doing pretty well, Mike, and it was running up. My next stock is actually to the downside, of course, especially with all that downwards movement today. I noticed Oxy had another terrible day. And Oxy has been having a lot of problems lately, right around this $60 support. I noticed if they end up breaking below 60, I think they could end up falling down quite a bit more on the daily level. So I feel like this might be a pretty good swing play to the downside. We're starting to finally see some pretty good rejections off of this key trend line here. We've had a lot of bounces on this trend line over the past few months, and I feel like that obviously these oil stocks have been way overextended in 2023 from low to high, or I should say from 2022, but from low to high, pretty much from the COVID low to the high, all the way up here at the top, Mike. Oxy ended up going up a total of around 760%. I cannot even believe I'm saying that. 760%. So I feel like we're due for a bit of a pullback. Even if oil goes up, I feel like these oil stocks might fall down a little bit more.
Good stuff. I will make sure to keep it on my watch list. But yeah, that is a really crazy run up. With my next play, we actually have CCJ. So this is a uranium play. And this is not necessarily a play for tomorrow. It's more of like a multi-week setup. It's right at key support. It's very close to it, right around like $21 each. And its main resistance isn't even until like $28 each, or like even like $27. So I think it has a lot of room to run up. I also have been watching this stock for a while, and I think the risk reward situation on this one's pretty awesome, especially given how close it is to its current support.
Yeah, I like that as well. And I thought today it was very strong looking, had a nice breakout. So I like CCJ as well. I feel like that it's in that energy sector. It's not like oil per se. Like oil obviously tanked down today, but I'm not energy commodities did a little bit better, like uranium. I know gold was kind of all over the place, but ended up kind of up in the green too. So I kind of like CCJ too. Uranium looks good. And Mike, I know that we've been seeing a lot of these energy stocks bouncing on these supports. So hopefully we continue to see CCJ move up here. Another big stock I have at support is actually Roblox, Mike. Roblox is huge. I know I've been talking about it a little bit the past few days. Today they were all over the place. I'll give it that. They're still around that $26 support. They moved up very early on in the morning, kind of like what we talked about with Apple and a couple other stocks. They moved up right around open, then kind of fell off. I will still be watching them though for another uptrend here over the next couple days. It was a bad day today, but I still feel like the market could turn around. And, with so many of these stocks being around support, I feel like that Roblox is still good to watch, potentially for that gap up that I was talking about yesterday between like 30 and 32.
Sounds good. All right, well, it's now time for the momentum plays. With the first one, we have NVIDIA to the downside.
NVDA, pretty bad stock here today, Mike. I will say I love NVIDIA overall, but man, the past couple months, they have been brutal. I would say if they go ahead and fall under the support right around 140 even, watch out for puts tomorrow. That's going to be a huge support to watch.
There we go. With the next one, we have Zoom to the upside.
ZM, nice to see this stock kind of going up this morning. If they end up holding support around 66 and then moving back up above 67.50, I'll look for some nice calls back to the upside. But I think that 67.50 resistance will be pretty key to break.
All right, and then with the last one, we have Intel also to the upside.
INTC, yeah, wow, this one did a lot better actually, kind of like Meta and a couple of the other ones that were up in the green, but go ahead and make them break out above their high of day right around 27.12.
All right, so we're watching Intel and Zoom for potential day trades to the upside tomorrow, only if they break above the levels Tom listed. And then we are watching NVIDIA for a potential day trade to the downside tomorrow, only if it breaks below the level Tom listed. But it is now time for the big money $1 million trade for tomorrow. We are looking at W. This is Wayfair. So basically today, for those of you who don't understand options, I'll also explain this in a nice and easy way. $1 million was put into the W 40 strike call options that expire on March 17th of 2023. Basically, this is a bet where the big money wants this stock to go as high as possible. The higher the stock goes up, the more millions they will make. So looking at W stock though, Tom, this thing is severely oversold. It's taken a beating over the past couple years without a doubt. This thing has all-time highs all the way up to, I gotta go on a further time frame, all the way up to $369 a share, and now it's all the way down to 32. So this sell-off happened in a pretty quick time frame. I would not be surprised if we see a little pop back up. And it looks like the big money is betting on that same exact thing.
Wow, it is down 91 or like 92%, somewhere give or take a little bit right around that from that high to the low. That is a huge drop, 90 to 92%. I mean, that is insane, Mike, but I will also be watching it for that support bounce. I will say it looks kind of brutal here in the short term even. I mean, hasn't really gotten too much momentum back to the upside lately either. Man, I hope this one can recover, Mike, but in the short term, I'm not sure. Wayfair is a very popular though website, Mike. I know a lot of people have used them a lot, obviously, and it's one of the bigger like e-commerce. I would you count it as e-commerce, Mike? I guess you would.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like e-commerce, they sell a lot of products and stuff like that. So I feel like Wayfair could end up being, a better stock here over the next couple months. Obviously, if growth stocks do a lot better, it will help. One thing that worries me, Mike, is it being the 40 strike. That does make me kind of feel like someone could be selling covered calls. But whenever you look at that longer term time frame, I mean, I feel like a pop up to 40 would almost be like no movement at all. Like, I feel like this stock could easily come up and retest 50 or something like that. No problem if we got some good momentum.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's like if good momentum comes in, this thing can definitely move. Even like in August, Tom, look at that giant run up that Wayfair had. Like that was a pretty big pop in August of 2022 and, basically went straight up for, a couple weeks it looks like. And that was a 65% pop from the low to the high. So it's like it has room to run. It's just like the main question is, will we see this momentum come in? It's convincing seeing, $1 million going to the 40 strike calls. It's like a high risk, high reward play.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Mike, I might set an alert here because if I see a good move, maybe up above like 35.50 or 36, I'll definitely be watching it for a move back up to that 42, at least like the 42 resistance, if not the $50 resistance all the way up there. But there's a lot of key levels here. I like it. $1 million is going into those calls either way. So keep it on the radar. Even if they are shorting them, Mike, it might just be like a hedge play, obviously. Who knows? They could have millions and millions of dollars in this stock. I know, Mike, sometimes we talk about institutions, obviously, and man, guys, whenever you sometimes see the amount of money these institutions play with, it's kind of insane.
No doubt. So, Tom, there's one other key thing I really want to talk about, and that is SPY. So looking at SPY on an intraday chart, we can see that we're like in the middle of multiple channels. So there's a couple key levels I want to point out really quickly. The first one is right around 378. It seems like multiple times over like the past couple days, SPY keeps bouncing off 378. It even did twice today, and it did multiple times last week. So 378 appears to be a very important support on SPY. And at the same time, we have some key resistance right around like 381 to 382, and even like towards 385. So what are your thoughts on this full channel we have going on, and what other important levels are you seeing?
Yeah, that is a pretty big channel, Mike. I will say that is huge. And that 378 support is going to be very key to watch tomorrow. If we end up dumping under 378, I would expect a bit better of a move, than we saw the last time. The last time we moved under 378, we only fell down a little bit on SPY, down to like 376, 70, somewhere right around there. And then we popped back up in a pre-market the next day. So I will be watching for a bigger move. I feel like that we could maybe retest that low of 375. See how we got that big move down on Thursday, December 22nd. I feel like we could maybe get another big drop under 378 like that and maybe retest 375, especially if we see those other stocks like Apple Microsoft, and those big tech stocks continue to fall down, kind of like they did today. But I love this channel. I really feel like that if we start moving back towards the upper end of the channel, we might get some pretty good price action. Like we might come up, test it for maybe half a day or something, and then maybe the next day at market open, we might finally get like that big extension, big push up through some of these resistances. But I will say I'm kind of leaning to the downside, Mike, especially with Tesla falling down as much as they did and Apple. It's been so brutal lately. And with them breaking those lows towards the end of the day there, it was just rough.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up a great point. It's like it'll be very hard for the SPY to have a true breakout if we have the market moving powerhouses, aka Tesla and Apple, tanking down. Like especially Apple. Like Apple has such a large influence on the market. It's pretty crazy. So it's like we need to see these two stocks at least chill out if there's going to be any chance of a true breakout with SPY.
Yeah, we do. And it's getting pretty overextended, especially on Tesla's case. Like on Tesla's daily chart, they are very overextended from the high to the low. I mean, that is a big drop. Now, Apple, they also have a big drop, but you can see that like Apple, for example, is just so high from their levels in 2017, 2018. And even if we look at the COVID low here, you can see the low down in 2020, or yeah, down in 2019, I should say, was down around 40. The COVID low was down here right around $55. So from 55 to where we are now, it's up around 125% in the past 3 years, let's say. So that's really still very good growth over the past 3 years to be up 124%. And then up at the very high, we're up 228%. I still feel like Apple has some more room to come down, maybe towards like maybe that 120 support, maybe 110, maybe even 100, if the market gets bad enough. But it's just so overextended, Mike. I want to point this out because I was looking at this earlier this morning for fun. Like we can go back to like 2008, right? Like Apple fell, obviously. It fell down a lot. It had highs of, well, split adjusted, $7.20 down to $3, just over like 50, 60% to the downside. But I want to go to 2000 because that move up heading into 2000, which was the dot-com bubble, really reminds me of that move up today. And you can kind of see, now I'm not saying we're going to have a huge gap down like we did in 2000, but I do think that we could see some movement back to the downside just due to, these stocks popping up so much like they have been. So I think that that's a big thing, Mike, to go ahead and look at. Obviously, Apple has been crazy the past 25 years with their growth, and I just feel like they're due for a little bit more of a pullback.
All right, there we go. Either way, I think 2023 is going to be an amazing trading year because even if these stocks tank down, there's opportunity all day long with, playing put options or even shorting the stock. But at the same time, we have some stocks, basing off some solid support. So I really think this year is going to be awesome. Make sure to check out that first link in the description in the comments down below to join the premium part of the StockedUp Discord. We have some amazing brand new features set to be added very soon. I promise you, you will not want to miss them. And besides that, let's have an amazing week.